Beautiful shot of Las Vegas, Nevada. That's where we are, ready for semifinal number 2 between 3-seed Wyoming and 2-seed Boise State. We're inside the Thomas and Mack Center, and so glad you could be with us. The winner earlier tonight, 1-seed Fresno State, awaits the winner of this one. Krista Blanc, Tammy Blackburn with you. And Tammy, an interesting scenario between these two teams. They split in the regular season. As we take a look at the bracket, this is how we've gotten to this point. Boise State, a win against Air Force last night, and it was the Wyoming Cowgirls with a major comeback against Utah State to get themselves here. But these two split in the regular season. Interesting matchup. They're very different in their styles.
You know, I didn't think that Wyoming played the first half yesterday like they were the 3-seeded team, but they came out in the second half and they showed us why they are, you know, had the bye on Sunday and just advanced to yesterday's quarters and are here in the semis. They have to shoot well. They need to D-up. They need to, most importantly, be ready to run, because Ashanti Coleman and Jade Christopher of Boise State, they want to push, they want to get out. Ashanti Coleman will go rim to rim. She's a rim runner. And of course you have Hodgins, who was last year's MVP, Riley Loop for a 3-point shot. She was 2 years ago MVP. Listen, this is a Boise State team that knows how to play when they're here.
Boise State, they've won 8 of their last 9. Wyoming, they've won their last 6 in a row. Who's going to move on to the championship game tomorrow night to face Fresno State? We'll find out. We'll have the tip for you in starting lineups right after this. Starting lineups being announced here at the Thomas and Mack Center. And we are ready to take a look at the starters for the 3-seed Wyoming Cowgirls in the guard spots. And there you see it's Alba Sanchez Ramos in one of the spots, as well as Quinn Weideman. And then it's Teresa Vitalova in one of the forward spots, along with Taylor Rusk. And then Tommy Olson rounds out the guards. Olson, the sophomore, in the guard spot. Getting ready to face 2-seed Boise State. They'll start things off like this: Brady Hodgins, Riley Looper, and Jade Christopher in the guard spots. And then it's Ashanti Coleman in the forward spot. And Mallory McGuire gets the starting nod inside. Boise State 22-9 on the season coming in, the 2-seed, and 17-11. That's the record for the Wyoming Cowgirls, as they have been on a roll as of late, winning their last 6 in a row. And these two teams met up very early in conference play, January 1st. And it was in Wyoming, and it was a loss for Boise State. And it's kind of one of those games that flipped back and forth. The way it's kind of been between these two teams, one team will dominate a quarter, then the other team will dominate another quarter, and it depends on who had the most in a quarter or so to win it all.
Yeah, it kept flip-flopping. I mean, really, Wyoming established a lead, and then Boise State would take it back. There were really only 2 lead changes, though, but it was close the entire time. But, you know, what stands out for me is that, and I think we're probably not going to see this today either, but both teams took care of the ball. And I think both of these teams bring very good handles, ball handlers to the table. And I think we'll probably have a clean game, but Boise State will get out and run, and Wyoming has to make shots. Good news for them is that Wyoming last time, they got to the free throw line 22 times. They made 17 of them, and they shot, just under 50%, which was good overall.
Wyoming was down by 16 points yesterday against Utah State as they look immediately to Teresa Vitalova, the sophomore out of the Czech Republic. And a quick perimeter shot rims in and out for McGuire.
I don't mind that shot by McGuire quickly in the shot clock. She had 18 points the last time these two teams met. She was 2 of 3 from downtown, 8 of 17. Put her in the paint, bring her out a little bit, mix her up, but feed her the ball. She's a good matchup for this YO team.
And continuing to try to go inside, Teresa Vitalova, the All-Mountain West member, leading scorer and rebounder for this team. She was spectacular, 19 points, 5 boards and a couple of blocks last night against Utah State.
Well, interestingly enough, she already has almost what she had in the game back on January 1st. She only scored 5, and now she's got 4 quick ones. I think you keep giving it to Teresa down in the paint. Let's see if YO gives her a chance to get another look. They got to be patient. Let her get down the floor.
Oh. That's a quick one off the front of the rim, and now running back to try to keep up with Mallory McGuire. Boise State, a team that definitely has pace and can run as they dish it off to Hodgins, and she can't hit the layup.
Surprised that they sagged as much, YO, on Mallory McGuire as much as they did, because that left Hodgins open. There were 3 players in the paint crowding around McGuire.
Cowgirls were down by 16 in the first half. And they chipped away at that one, went on a 16-0 run that got them back in the game. And eventually, they did not take over the lead last night in their game against Utah State until the 4th quarter. But they finally settled down and they got back in it as there's a pretty up and under by McGuire.
Nice move. She's just so agile, McGuire, who's been a transfer from University of Oregon to this Boise State program. She's an inside-out player, but you see her ability to move well with her feet. How about the big girl taking it all the way up and under with the reverse layup?
Aggressive drive by Sanchez Ramos. Sophomore out of Madrid, Spain. This is a rematch from last year's championship game here at the Mountain West, and it was a solid victory for the Boise State Broncos. They won by 17 points. They went on to the NCAA tournament and lost in overtime in Corvallis to Oregon State in the first round. But Gertie Presnell's team, they have now been in and won the championship here in the tournament 3 in a row.
Yep. And Gerald Mattinson, the head coach in his first year for Wyoming, who took over for Joe Legursky, one of our favorite people. This is his first time in the championship game as a head coach, but he's done it as an associate or assistant coach with Joe Legursky in the past. He's familiar, knows exactly what needs to be done to win this game and advance.
Jade Christopher looking for Coleman. And the shot's just not falling immediately. 1 of 7 shooting for the Broncos to start this half. And this is a team that shoots 45% from the floor.
1v1, that's Vitalova versus McGuire, and Vitalova is hot from that spot. She just backed McGuire down with her strong tail side and gave her a little bit of space to work with, and then that little baby hook over her left-hand shoulder.
Averages 14 points a game, and she has 6 points, 3 of 5 shooting. McGuire going to try to hit the 3, can't get it, rushed it maybe just a little bit. Vitalova was right out at her. 5-point Cowgirls lead. Rusk on the drive and gets the touch.
Wyoming's making early shots, a lot more than they did yesterday.
Yeah, they had 8 points in the second quarter of their game yesterday against Utah State. Boise State, the win over Air Force, the 7 seed. They forced 22 turnovers, got 23 points off those turnovers. And they were 20-1 fast break points also. So they're willing to run, push the tempo as the shot clock winds down to 5. And Hodgins again. Coleman tries to clean it up and does.
Well, her length allows her to be able to get in there. Coleman, who stands at 6'2", picks up the miss by Hodgins. That's a great take. Now, Wyoming wants to shorten the court up just a little bit, shorten the game there in their half-court offense and really keep Boise State in front and make them shoot and beat them from the outside. But Coleman to clean it up with that long reach.
Vitalova has been working and working to try to get space inside, and this time finally McGuire just says, okay, you're gonna have to push me over, and she does.
She held her own ground, and that was the difference between the time when Vitalova backed her in, is that McGuire said, all right, I'm here, I've established this position, and if you're gonna dip or you're gonna push me back, I'll go ahead and take the charge. That was not a flop. That's a great call.
Yep, certainly was. Looper. Does not connect.
Gordy Presnell, after yesterday's victory over Air Force, was so complimentary of how well Air Force had played all season long, but he says, we really took care of business the way that we like to play. We were able to run our game and push, and he paid special attention to Coleman and Jade Christopher for the way that they put a little bit of pressure on Air Force.
Good defense, the takeaway by the Broncos. Out to McGuire. She's been trying it, just can't get it. 2 of 12 shooting for Boise State, and Wyoming 4 of 6.
I don't know that Gordy Presnell wants McGuire taking that many shots from long range when they're having a little bit of trouble scoring early on.
5-point lead here early by the Cowgirls. Back inside the Thomas and Mack Center. Early in the first quarter between 3-seed Wyoming, 2-seed Boise State. 5-point Cowgirls lead. Kristen Blunt, Tammy Blackburn with you. And Wyoming just making their way into the paint.
Vitalova, she's 3 of 5. She's been down on that low block. McGuire for Boise State is out. So let's see who picks up the post play. Vitalova is out as well. A couple of these coaches both going with substitutions.
Both teams average 7 threes a game, and for Boise State, they are 0 for 5 behind the arc. They have had a tough time shooting, 2 of 12 total. They needed that one, and finally, Hodgins, 3rd time the charm. She's tried a couple of lefty layups earlier, and they did not fall.
I don't think that Gordy Presnell, as I mentioned this before, really wanted McGuire to keep shooting long range. She's a good long range shooter. We know that that is her shot, but it's a team that was struggling to score just a little bit for a couple minutes, and he really didn't want her to take that 3rd shot, so he gave her the hook and got her out. And, you know, Riley Lupfer and several other 3-point shooters for this Boise State team probably need to be taking those shots, at least right now at this point in time of the game.
Yeah, I think maybe just the timing of it and the fact that they really hadn't gotten their offense going yet, that wasn't the direction that he wanted to go, but now they pulled within 3.
Lupfer has taken 250 on the season as opposed to McGuire's 84 total attempts from 3. Again, not that she has the red lights, not what we're saying, it's just timing, knowing when.
The foul against Wyoming, and the inbound will be to Boise State as Ellie Warner will check in and give Ashanti Coleman a rest, a redshirt senior. Career high last night in the Air Force game. She had 23 points, and she's had 20-plus points in 4 games now in a row, and they'd love to see her get a 5th.
She shoots 54% from the field. She's a very high efficient shooter.
And the interior good. As Wyoming not able to stop Hodgins. Hodgins with 4 points. Taylor Rusk, one of 2 seniors.
Big step in travel backwards, yep.
Yep, gonna call it on Jaden Laifanua. Freshman from Draper, Utah.
That step back was a travel because she didn't use a dribble. Had she dribbled it at the same time that she stepped back to try to get her toes behind the three-point line, it would not have been a travel. Didn't put the ball down, caused the unforced turnover.
Laifanua averages 7 points a game. She only had 2 points last night in the win against Utah State. But both times she's faced Boise State in this season, Tammy, she's had double-figure scoring. And there's a pretty shot by Warner, who just checked in. The redshirt senior, just 4 points last night, but a pretty shot. It's a 9-0 run for Boise State. They take the lead. So a red-hot start for the Cowgirls, and they've gone a bit cold. Whiteman can't get it. Rebound down to Rachel Bowers, who's checked in.
Looks like she shorted herself on that shot. She didn't follow all the way through. She sort of shot put it, brought her hand right back. I want to see that follow through by Whiteman. She has a beautiful shot. Very pure, natural shooter. We saw that yesterday's game from Whiteman.
Christopher tries to back in and staying right with her. Sanchez Ramos, good movement without the basketball. It's Jade Lavelle who's checked in.
Jade Lavelle, who was feeling it yesterday from the mid-range game, kept taking shot after shot. A player that Gordy Presnell would really like to see her really get to the rim because she is just so strong. And speaking of strong, Taylor Rusk, who's been trying to work her way inside. She's been stopped, but she's made some nice kick-out passes. She had the opening run there that time and finished.
Stops the 11-0 run. They needed the bucket. 2-point Broncos lead. Facing up. Laifanua, opposite side and good. The finish by the 6'1" freshman.
Had the defender Bowers beat on the first step. It was like Bowers was stepping in glue and couldn't move. Laifanua underneath the basket, had to better her angle to reverse that one.
She ties this one up. Cutting into the lane, it's Ellie Warner, no good, and we're under a minute here in the first quarter. Tied up 13 apiece. Trying to squeeze that one up and in was Laifanua, doesn't get it. Oh, pushing and nobody there, and the finish. Jade Christopher with the bucket. She got her 4th career double-double last night in the win against Air Force. 12 points, 10 assists.
This is her 32nd game of the season, and she has started all 32 games. She has logged, with the minutes that she's played in this game, over 1,000 minutes this season. Only the 2nd player other than Hodgins to do so.
Transfer out of Kansas. Played every game last year with 26 starts. And there's a good drive and the bank shot finish. Sanchez Ramos. She's got 3 points and a long-range shot, no good. That's going to do it for the first quarter of action. All tied up, 15 apiece. We've got a good one. Quarter number 2 for you coming up right after this. What a game we've got going. Second quarter here at the Thomas & Mack. It's the semifinal, and the winner heads to the championship game tomorrow night to face 1 seed Fresno State. Krista Blunt, Tammy Blackburn with you. And a close one, all tied up, 15 apiece. Wyoming came out charging in this one early on. They were up by 7 at one time, and then Boise State started to work it around and get some boards, get some second chance points, 3-0 boards of their 10 rebounds. And Wyoming, though, shooting 54% in the first half. And a good start already for them here in the second.
Vitalova back in. Let's see if her team looks to try to find her on ball reversal. That's what they're looking for right now. And they lob it in from the high, tough angle. There's that baby hook, boy, Krista. I'm absolutely loving that out of Vitalova.
I love a good baby hook. I mean, it's really, really, really hard to defend. It's hard to stop.
For her, she keeps her left shoulder sort of in the defender's way, right? They would have to foul or reach to be able to even get a piece of that. Meanwhile, at the other end, Lavelle putting one back on the board to tie this thing up.
4 points for Lavelle. Balanced scoring for the Broncos.
Too much help there to lob that into Vitalova. Lupfer was on that help sideline.
Coleman, the task of staying with Vitalova. Oh, good cut inside and one. Just a little too late defensively was Lavelle. And a three-point opportunity and a nice read by Weideman.
Well, it was a beautiful pass from the outside. First of all, great basket cut, moving without the ball and making a read, but you got to credit the pass coming in from the outside. It was quick, and it had to be in her hands for her to be able to get that ball up and in. I like the sportsmanship by Lavelle to pick up Weideman, though, after she fouled her and knocked her down. That's just great sportsmanship. You got to see that.
Yep, certainly is. 3 points for Quinn Weideman, the sophomore out of Omaha, Nebraska. She had 16 points in the win last night against Utah State, as Coleman's got such a pretty jumper up the top of the key.
Coleman is one of 4 players on this team to average in double digits. She averages 12. Gives you a little bit of everything and what you need at the right time.
5 seniors on this Boise State team. So much experience. They have 7 freshmen coming in next year, as continuing to work it inside. Taylor Rusk.
I like the no call on the take there. Taylor Rusk all the way to the rim, no foul call. These officials doing a fantastic job letting them play. We have our clean game. We talked about turnovers for both of these teams and how they take care of the ball. 3-1, Wyoming, Boise State, respectively, right now.
Way outside, way off the mark that time. Alba Sanchez Ramos. Player who's become a starter this year, the 6-foot sophomore out of Spain. Only played in 7 games last year.
Plays as a forward, not a guard. Can't play the guard spot, but they use her in that forward. She's listed as a guard in the roster. She's a power forward, comes all the way out around the wing, but has some versatility to her.
Aryavet's up top. Carla Aryavet's trying to stay with Lupfer. Help D coming over and one. Kapincha just checked in. She tries to rotate over, and Lupfer, taking the contact, will go to the free throw line.
Well, Lupfer at some point in this shot realized that she had drawn the foul, and the follow-through was the key. You know, she's a veteran player. She's a headsy player. She knows that she's going to get a chance, so why not throw it up? And the key for that play, get it high off the glass so it has a chance. Yep. She converts it. It's a big 3 for the Broncos.
She ties this one up. 3 points for Riley Lupfer. She's one of those 5 seniors.
Nice move.
Baseline drive, high off the left corner by Kapinch.
McGuire did not stutter step. She lunged a little bit, and really appreciate that ball fake and baseline drive.
Shooter's touch, keep that follow through up, and it's good for Lupfer. The lead back to Boise State.
You know what was great about Lupfer right before the game? She was right in front of us and said, all right, come on, Lupfer, give us a good game, take those threes and make them. And she goes, not just looking for the win. I said, that's so Luke for like.
Wow, the reverse up and under good. Erdjevets, the sophomore from Croatia.
How much baseline is this Boise State team willing to give up and force Wyoming to take that tough reverse layup shot? We've seen about 4 of those, and they've been solid.
That's a good defensive rotation and help D right there to shut off the opening for Hodgins, and she's committed the turnover. Wyoming with the 1-point lead, back and forth.
Not the best hook. I mean, credit McGuire for pushing Vitalova away from the basket, up the paint, out of reach, not out of reach for Coleman, who checks back in and gives another one from about 23 feet, Krista.
First 3 of the game for her, 7 points for Ashanti Coleman. Kapinch. Just short, rushed that shot. Really didn't get her legs underneath that one. She's going to get a breather coming back in. It's Alba Sanchez Ramos. Looper using the screen, in and out. This crowd wanting a moving screen call. They feel like the McGuire high screen got a little too much activity in it.
There's room for a cutter, room for a cutter. Look at how spread out Wyoming is, and they're trying to get something isolated in that post.
Olsen takes it in, gets it blocked, kicks it back out. Shot clock down to 5, and it's off the rim long. The shot no good for Weideman. Wyoming's done a nice job in getting back. They've really not allowed Boise State to get out and run as much as they'd like to, although right there, that's just Coleman running from high to low in the finish.
Well, you can't really accept that, though. If you're going to go back and get set in your defense, you can't let that happen after you're set in your defense. That's just too easy.
McGuire trying to hold off Vitalova. Swings it around. Vitalova wanting the foul call, not going to get it. McGuire pushed her way outside.
Meanwhile, Gordy Presnell wants this team to run. He wants them to pick it up. McGuire, the trailer three-point play that I love. This Wyoming crowd not pleased with the matchup of McGuire and Vitalova, but Boise State loves what they're getting. They're on an 8-0 run.
Second quarter, 4:25 remaining between 3-seed Wyoming, 2-seed Boise State, and it is a back-and-forth affair. And right now, it's a 33-26 lead for the Broncos. Krista Blunt, Tammy Blackburn with you, and it's been back and forth. 7 a 5-0 run at one time for Wyoming, an 11-0 run for Boise State got them back in it, and they are hanging on to a lead right now.
You love a game that's only halfway through the second quarter and 5 lead changes. By the way, Krista, both teams shooting really well.
Yeah.
Boise State at 48% and Wyoming at 50%.
Big differential, 4 made threes for Boise State, none yet for Wyoming. They average 7 a game. They're 0 for 4. That would help their cause. And we'll see if we can get one here. Nope, off the mark once again. Santos Ramos, but a long rebound. They get another chance. Oh, and a good attempt there by Fanua.
Is McGuire a shot changer or what?
Yeah,
her
absolutely.
length, her reach of her arms just forces people to change shot, and she gets a little dose of her own at the other end with a great stop by Wyoming. She came diving into the basket. I do like the way, though, McGuire, and her presence, underneath the basket. She's a rim protector. Wyoming's going to get called for the foul, so McGuire goes to the line. But that length will really force people to either take a tough shot or have to alter their shot.
Yeah, definitely so. Transfer from Oregon, sat out last year. 19 starts at Oregon. Made it to the Elite Eight with that group. Redshirt junior from Reno, Nevada. Gets 1 of 2 from the line. McGuire with 6 points. And Wyoming just continuing the threes, and that one way off the mark. Broncos trying to push. Coleman, she can hit the 3, and she does. She's got a couple of them now in this one, and Coleman, she's the first in double digits. She's got 12 points.
There are players on teams that hit timely buckets. Coleman is that player for this team. Not only is she consistent, but she'll give you what you need at the right time. I mentioned that earlier, but look what that bucket did, right? They were up 34-26, and now they pull away. Now it's a double-digit lead. Yeah. And there's plenty of time here, but I'm just saying these are the things that they do to keep their foot on the pedal.
And now they force the turnover. They are on a 12-0 run, just under 3 minutes left, 15-2 run. They've been on a roll as both coaches going to their benches, bringing in fresh legs. Jay Johnson's checked in for Wyoming, number 5 in brown. And Maggie Freeman, number 3 in white for the Broncos, is checked in, the redshirt freshman. Lavelle using the Coleman screen. She hits the shot, but if not, Coleman was in perfect position for the O board, and that's a good sign. Lavelle adding to her total. She has 6 points, and the last Wyoming field goal, Tammy, was back at the 6:42 mark.
Over 4 minutes.
Trying the reverse and gets it. Area events.
It was only going to work unless it was quick, because McGuire was chasing and she was coming with that reach.
Stop the drought. Ariavets does. Carla Ariavets, the sophomore out of Croatia. Just 2 points in their last night's game, but averages 6 a game. With 2 minutes remaining here in the first half. Quick dribbling, the dish off by McGuire, just hanging out waiting.
It's a game of paint points for both teams. Now, Lavelle and Coleman for Boise State stretching it out, giving them a different look, but both teams' points in the paints have been huge. And give Vitalova yet another one. Krista, we're at about 28 points for Wyo in the paint and about 20 for Boise State.
And she's now in double digits with 10. She's been phenomenal. Christopher, the skip out. Lavelle, baseline, no good. And the rebound down to Vitalova. Jade Christopher averages about 8 assists per game. She had 10 last night. She is so quick with the ball in her hands. Rusk trying to get a little spacing. Jay Johnson. Ariavets on the drive, and it's lost into the hands of Christopher. Coleman running. Good transition D by the Cowgirls, but spotted up. Freeman off the front of the rim, but another chance for the Broncos. And Mallory McGuire says, slow this down a little bit.
I'm running free throw line to free throw line. I'm trying.
Under a minute left, 10 on the shot clock for Boise State. 11-point lead for the Broncos, trying to add to it, and they do. Jade Christopher, the 3-ball.
Boise State just has really good balance to their game. Inside, out, outside, in.
And she only had 2 on that one. That was a 3. Left corner, that would have been a good one and much needed. Clock down to 5, and there's a nice cleanup by Wyoming. Lead here at halftime is 12 to Boise State. What a game. Back and forth we go. It's much closer than a 12-point lead feels. Don't go anywhere. Jesse Kurtz in our halftime show right after this. Into the lead out and got them to this 12-point lead at the break.
30 points in the paint in the first half for Wyoming, and they make the first play right here in the third quarter to beat Villanova in the paint. That's the same play they went to start the game. She had quick 4 points, but that time Boise State stopped her.
Kick outside, and missed by Christopher.
Beautiful thing for this Boise State team, and Fresno State has this as well. You'll see this tomorrow from Fresno State, is that any one player can go off, or 2 players for Boise State. With the depth that these teams have, I mean, let's face it, Hodgins has 4 points. She's only taken 4 shots, and a lot of times she's a player that's going to get in there and score. She's going to be in the mix. She just hasn't had to have been as involved in some of these plays.
Sanchez Ramos gets herself to the line, takes it in, and draws the personal against Ashanti Coleman, her first. And the first free throw good for Sanchez Ramos. She has 4 points. This is a Wyoming team that found themselves down big last night in their game against Utah State. And they clawed their way back, went on a 16-0 run, and they came out the winners to get themselves to this semifinal. Do they have it in them here tonight as well? Not down by nearly as much. They're 3-6 when they trail at half, including last night. McGuire, too much on it. Wyoming looking to push the tempo a bit. Rusk. Ball fake, Sanchez Ramos, the pull-up is good. 10-point Boise State lead.
She's your player that off the dribble, she's gonna have to work hard to get her shot. She's a player that puts the ball on the floor. She can hurt you. She's not the speediest, but her work rate is pretty special.
Missed by the Broncos, rebound to Vitalova. Chance for the Cowgirls to get it down below double digits. Vitalova got the baseline and gets the reverse.
She's so good at that move. I can't tell you how many reverse layups Boise State has given up in this game. And Gordy Presnell knows that Wyoming is on a 6-0 run. They've come out of the locker room. They're pretty hot. Watch this turn. Vitalova up and under, a little reverse. It's so pretty.
Wyoming on their best scoring run, a 6-0 run, and it forces Boise State to take the timeout as they were up by double digits. And that last up and under move by the Cowgirls pulls them back under double-digit lead. Let's see what the Broncos drew up in the timeout. Last year's championship match was between these two programs. The win went to Boise State. A miscue wraparound pass by McGuire, and it's a turnover. It's going to go the other direction.
Not even close. I mean, she wasn't even looking. She had her back to the sideline there and just made a pass. Unless somebody was supposed to be there and they weren't, but I don't think so because they were spotting up about 6 feet north of there. That doesn't help after Gordy Presnell called the timeout to try to stop this run of Wyoming, especially if that turnover results in a bucket for the Cowgirls.
Sanchez Ramos has been very active and a little too active as the charge is called against her as Jade Christopher was trying to stand in front of her. That's just her first foul. She and Vitalova have come out on a mission of attacking. McGuire posting up Vitalova, wants it inside. They'll work it around. Christopher hesitated, didn't take it the first time, and knocked outside to the Cowgirls. Rusk trying to get some space into the paint, and works it back outside. Helps down on Vitalova.
Picked up her dribble.
Faces up, gets some help down. The shot is off, but off the mark. And Coleman thought she had some teammates running, and she did, but there were also some Cowgirls back. Good job getting back by Wyoming.
Broncos are just really giving the opportunities to Wyoming. Careless passes.
And there's a takeaway. Hodgins trying to push one-on-one. Tried to draw contact, not going to get it. And it ends up in the hands of Wyoming, and Gordy Presnell frustrated that they didn't get a foul call. Baseline drive attempt is no good for Weideman, but she gets fouled. She'll get free throws. Both teams have done such a nice job taking care of the basketball. Still very low turnovers, but 6 turns now for Wyoming, 5 for the Broncos, and a foul given is going to go against McGuire, her second.
Broncos could have easily only had 3 turnovers. McGuire with 1, and then Boise State coming down the other way and throwing that one away. So 2 quick turnovers for the Broncos, puts them up at 5. The key is when those turnovers, how much is Wyoming a team that is going to punish you for points off the turnovers? And luckily, in the third period at the 7:57 mark, Wyoming had only gotten 2 points off of turnovers. That's only because there were such few turnovers. So that's what taking care of the ball will do for you.
With an 8-0 run, kiss it off the glass. It stops the 8-0 run that Wyoming had going. Luther is going to go to the stripe as the Cowgirls, Tammy, had cut it down to just a 6-point deficit.
She's had a quiet 8 points. She's 3 of 5, only 1 of 3. I thought maybe she might want to take a few more threes. I mean, you think about it, where McGuire is on this team right now. She's taken 5 from that range. I suspect that Luther's going to get some more looks from downtown as we continue to go through this game.
Extends the lead to 9. She has 9 points. The foul was against Weideman, her first. Then Weideman. Rachel Bowers has checked in, guarding Vitalova, and there's a back cut. How about high to low this time? Vitalova, the assist player.
When Wyoming is playing, and they're just playing loose, and they're playing the style that Gerald Mattinson wants them to play, they'll make great cuts and backdoors.
Shot from Hodgins was no good, and the rebound was ripped down by Jade Christopher, and then she gets fouled underneath. That's great effort by Jade Christopher hitting the O-boards, and the foul goes against Tommy Olson, her first. Rusk keep up with Looper. And she loses it out of bounds. And we'll take the timeout. 7-point lead for Boise State as Wyoming came charging back. We've got a good one with 4:58 remaining here in the third. Third quarter, 4:58 remaining, and it's just a 7-point lead for Boise State. Their biggest lead at one time, up by 14, and Wyoming has come out. They've been on a run, and right now Wyoming winning this quarter, Tammy, 10-5 over the Broncos.
You know, it's been pretty good for Wyoming, and the reason is that I think their patience has been key. When they are making cuts and they're looking for the extra pass, it's great. But Looper, like I said moments ago, I think we're going to get a little bit more from her. No doubt that Gordy Fresno wants her to take more shots from there. She does, and the payoff is big.
Russ comes back and she lofts it up. Yeah, Looper, a high archer. She being the lefty and the way she shoots sort of sideways, it's tough to defend because she steps back kind of the opposite direction as Coleman tries to go with the up and under. Can't get it. Trying to scoop it up and in. Looper has 12 points. Coleman has 14. Double digits for Vitalova. Rusk, back-to-back buckets for her. She now has double digits. She has 10 points. Back to a 6-point lead as running the court well. Coming off the bench, Rachel Bowers, the sophomore, gets a hoop. She averages 6 points per game. She didn't play a ton yesterday. Oh, that's way out in the bank. Vitalova.
She has that shot nailed. I mean, it's money for her. She just knows exactly where to put it off the glass.
And there's Looper again. Another look. This time can't get it. The rebound down to Sanchez Ramos. Oh, and running the court. Russ can't finish. And Wyoming wanted a call, didn't get it. Jake Christopher drives it in. How about Tommy Olson stripping that one out of the hands of Bowers?
These teams are running 94 feet back and forth. Look at Vitalova.
Oh, so close.
She's like, listen, if you're going to run, I'm going to stop as the trailer right here. Feel free to get me this. I'll spot up and be ready.
Lavelle, swish. Jade Lavelle. She has 8 points and a pretty jumper.
Yep, the lefty. She and Riley Looper, they look so good.
Rusk is taking advantage of this matchup. They list her at 5'11", they list Looper at 5'9", and Rusk is saying, I'm bigger, I'm going to take you inside, and it's now that 6-point lead once again.
Wyoming goes over the top to not let Looper have any room, but guess who's open from three? And Coleman doesn't pay off, and Wyoming has a 2-on-1.
Wow. And the Cowgirls fans on their feet and livid. I have to say, though, I really did think that Santos Ramos should have given it up a little bit sooner than she did. Boy, this crowd, not happy. They play on, 6-point lead by the Broncos. They had a 2-on-1 situation, and they didn't give it up quickly. Maya Fanua. She's going to get whistled for the personal.
Hanging on McGuire. There was a lot of traffic where McGuire was going at the elbow.
And that is, sorry, Tammy, that's the 15th foul. So yeah, McGuire's going to go to the line.
Yeah, they'll be shooting too. And this is right about the time in the first quarter where Wyoming put Boise State at the line.
75% free throw shooting team. And this crowd has gotten vocal as she hits them both. McGuire at 10 points. She's in double figures. And it's 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter. And an 8-point lead for the Broncos.
Yeah, that's the right call. McGuire doesn't need to reach or lunge or poke. She needs to stay straight up and hold her position. She's not going to get called for the foul for doing that, but instead she picks up her third. So Gordy Presnell is going to make probably a pretty quick decision here.
How about McKinley Bradshaw, who's checked in? The freshman from Lyman, Wyoming, immediately looks to score.
Good size at 5'11". Why not look to score when you have the size and the strength of Bradshaw? I like that move. I like that decision.
She averages 5 per game, and then just Ellie Warner, their redshirt senior, just straight through.
She's been solid from there, shooting 100%, 2 of 2.
8th made 3 for the Broncos. And that puts them back up to a 9-point lead. Really, for me, the differential in this game, because it has been so close as Bradshaw and Hodgins collide. Foul's going to go, I think, on Hodgins. But 0 for 8 behind the arc for Wyoming. This game is so close, and when the other team's been able to hit 8 threes, it's such a big factor.
Look at the difference. Boise State, they've taken 22.
Yeah. And the takeaway there, Wyoming loses the opportunity under a minute left here in the third as Lavelle running the court, lays it up and good, and back up to the double-digit lead. Wyoming working it inside, Boise State not quite as much, and again, getting it done out on the perimeter.
Part of those pink points are, of course, Vichalova. They continue to go to her in Wyoming, or they're trying to get penetration inside the paint off the dribble. Weideman, a player that can actually do that. What Wyoming wants to do is get to the free throw line themselves. Boise State also has 5 fouls, but only 36 seconds left in this quarter.
McGuire will sit. Foul on Hodgins, her second. First free throw good. Quinn Weideman, the sophomore from Omaha, Nebraska. Nebraska Gatorade Player of the Year coming in. Her senior year gets them both. And 11 points for Weideman. About a 5-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock. Want to try to spin that lead back up to the double figures. Looper, perfect screen, but just short, and tried to draw the foul, can't do it.
Well, they were patient enough, and they looked for the right shot. You expected Looper to be able to get at least a piece of that, but credit for Wyoming for keeping Looper and Boise State above the free throw line and enough contesting.
There's some momentum going into the fourth quarter. What a play as they brought it down and they were trailing Bradshaw. The freshman, McKinley Bradshaw, coming in, making a difference, TB. That's that's the way the third quarter ends. First three of the ball game for Wyoming. Do they have more? We'll find out in the fourth right after this. We've got a ball game ready for the fourth quarter here at the Thomas & Mack. Mountain West Women's Basketball Championship semifinal number 2. The winner moves on to the championship game tomorrow night to face 1 seed Fresno State. Mr. Blunt, Tammy Blackburn with you. Wyoming fans had something to cheer for as their first made 3 of the ball game was right at the buzzer. 1 of 9 behind the arc tonight, a team that averages 7 threes per game, and that hit 7 of them last night in their win against Utah State. As Coleman loses it out of bounds, a turnover sends it the other direction. Boise State, they have connected on 8 made threes. Bradshaw trying to hang on, loses it over the end line. She's done some nice things, though, the freshman has.
I think they're going to play the percentages Wyoming does to try to get the ball in the hands of Vitalova, at least have her touch it in the series of the offense.
Yeah.
Whether that's from 3 or whether she can post up, whoever's guarding her, McGuire is not in for Boise State.
Coleman feeling out the D, can't get it. Rebound down to Bradshaw.
I would think that you would want to try to get Vitalova a touch here since McGuire isn't in, although Coleman with length at 6'2" can easily defend Vitalova.
Yep, and there she is, hand in the passing lane and the takeaway. She's quick, she's long, and she gets it.
She finished that one at the rim tonight. She wasn't going to miss that one like she did last night.
You're right. 16 points.
Dangerous her length is at 6'2", but that reach in the passing lane, and
Wyoming just, if that was a 3, 1 of 10 behind the arc.
Wyoming's in double-digit turnovers as well. They've got 10. That last one hurt.
I might not have counted that as a 3, but nonetheless, it's a season low. They had 2 at Boise State. It's only the other time this season on February 20th.
Wyoming is out of sort offensively, and Boise State is off to doing what they love, and that is run, push, tempo, finish at the other end. How about that? Jade Christopher threading the needle.
Now
all the way for Lavelle to finish.
Boise State fans on their feet now. It's back to a 10-point lead. Game of runs. And an aggressive drive and good. Ariavets with a hoop.
Even if Wyoming is making shots and Boise State's taking it out of the net, Boise State wants a quick inbound. Yep. They want to run the ball up the floor. They don't want to walk it. They don't want to take it out of the net slow. They want to keep pressing.
And the fake by Warner drives it in. Thought she got fouled. They don't call it. She went flying out of bounds. Good minutes from McKinley Bradshaw. Whiteman, right at Looper. Looper with the block shot. Whiteman thought she got fouled. Instead, they play on. Almost a takeaway by Whiteman. Nice screen from Coleman. Looper. Whiteman doing a nice job. She's really kept up with Looper for the most part. Fadeaway baseline, Lavelle. Coleman trying to keep it alive and does.
It's a new clock for the Broncos and certainly time in their favor. Not something that, you know, they don't want to take their foot off the pedal for sure. They want to be aggressive and score, but they do have time to work with. They don't need to force shots.
Yep, and another long rebound, this time to Warner. Getting out hustled just a bit is Wyoming and not able to box out. Good spacing by the Broncos. Shot clock to 4, shot short. Ellie Warner again, offensive rebounding machine.
3 offensive boards, 60 seconds on the clock because it resets to 20 seconds. That's 60 minutes, an entire minute, all while sustaining this lead.
Ellie Warner gets called for the travel up top, all that effort and not able to get the score out of it as McGuire comes back in. Ellie Warner will get a breather. She was working hard. 6:07 remaining. Big differential in the offensive boards. Vidalova, jumper no good. Christopher kicks up the accelerator and almost a takeaway by the Cowgirls, and it is. Oh, Broncos livid. They thought there was a foul. Not gonna get it. 6-point game.
Gosh, that's a big score. And
Help D coming up, hands in the passing lanes, and as Looper goes left, she gets fouled.
gonna cut that off. Remember, you want to make her go right. She's a lefty. So is Lavelle. If you take away the left, they can dribble right. Looper's been pretty good with the right, but she prefers her left. She prefers that left side. Put a good, pure, natural shooter on the free throw line. That's a characteristic miss.
Rattles that one in. 13 points for Looper. Seven-point Broncos lead.
Spacing, oh, Vidalova's there.
Oh, a little bit of a late whistle. She waited. She probably should have gone up with it. She wanted to draw the contact. I think she should have taken the shot quicker, but nonetheless, she gets the foul call to go her way. She'll go to the line.
When she did not take that shot, she became off balance. I think if she takes that shot, she makes it because her shoulders are square. She could also potentially have drawn the late foul on the follow-through. Remember, protecting the shooter there. Nevertheless, she'll make those two, and it's all the same anyway.
5-point lead for Boise State. 4:55 remaining. Oh, the help defense, a great hustle by Tommy Olson. Tommy Olson's been making things happen out there. We'll take the timeout. It's a 5-point game. Winner going to the championship game. good win here in our semifinal of the Mountain West Women's Basketball Championship. 5-point lead for 2-seed Boise State over 3-seed Wyoming. Krista Blunt, Tammy Blackburn with you. And what a game it's been. Back and forth, a game of runs from both sides. It's been tied up again. Both teams have had leads at times. It's been the Broncos as of late as they're hanging on to this 5-point lead. Shot clock to 5. Coleman needed to help and did into the lane. And great effort. They'll say jump ball, I believe, and it's going to go the other direction. Oh, no, they're going to call the foul. Yeah.
They'll call the foul on Sanchez Ramos.
Tough break for the Cowgirls. And an opportunity as
too many of those being given up by Wyoming. But how about her redeeming and getting one back?
Yep. Oh my goodness. The quickness of Jade Christopher.
Those are the things that are on a stat sheet that you can't coach. That's just Jade Christopher wanting this game. You know, who wants it? Dig deep. Almost 4 minutes left before one of these teams will advance to the championship. You win tomorrow, you get an automatic berth to the NCAA.
Knuckleball to the baseline. Christopher nowhere to go, needs some help, and Coleman there to help her. Seven-point Broncos lead. 3.5 minutes remaining. Rusk. Oh, Lavelle. All ball.
Oh, didn't need a quick one.
Looper doesn't get it.
I think Gordy Presnell is thinking, we might have wanted to hold that one up. He loves his Riley Looper shooter, no doubt. She normally has a green light, but clock management at this point in time, super important.
Up and under, tough move, and just missing Weideman, and then the frustration foul on the O board. They're going to give it to Sanchez Ramos, and that is her 4th. She's given so much great effort, the sophomore.
She gets called for a lot of fouls after plays are made, like on follow-throughs or after, like it's sort of that follow-through move where she's either, lunging, but when you really look at where she's picking up her fouls, it's after the play or at the end of the play.
Coleman up high and banks it in. Ashanti Coleman, 20 points for her, 5 in a row now. She's had at least 20 points.
Danger spot here for Wyoming because they just have not been shooting the 3-ball very well. Hopefully that will change. It doesn't with Vitalova. They're down 9 points. And time is now at the 2-minute mark. And since they haven't been shooting well with the 3-ball, they've really been playing a 2 game. Not that they can't get to the 3-ball quickly, but with that miss, now Boise State will just milk the clock, and they'll take this down to probably right around 5 or 6 seconds before a shot goes off.
Cowgirls 1 of 11 behind the arc. McGuire, that one would have hurt. It's batted around out of bounds. It'll go to Wyoming.
I'm not saying you need a 3 on this possession, but you need a quick 2 if that's what you're going to go for.
Got to get a bucket, and then you got to get a stop for sure. Vitalova. McGuire was there.
That could have been the possession right there that changes everything for a finish with Boise State. 90 seconds.
Jade Christopher, 10 assists. It's her 2nd straight game with double-figure assists. 6 of the last 7 games. Really impressive. Richard Sr. out Federal Way. Washington drives it in. Can't get the layup. Rebound down to Vitalova. And I think they're going to get the over in the back call on McGuire. That is her fourth. No, that is her fifth.
That's her fifth.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep. McGuire will sit. Her team up by 9.
Boy, they need a quick shot right here. They spent a lot of time defending while Boise State had the ball in that possession and milked that clock with 1:30.
Sanchez Ramos gets the shot to go. And a timeout called by Gerald Mattinson, the first-year head coach for Wyoming.
7 points. It's a 3-possession game. And less than a minute to play. You've got to stop the clock.
Yep. You certainly do. 59.8 remaining.
Wyoming has 4 fouls. The next one will put Boise State on the line, and Boise State today is shooting 75% from the stripe.
Broncos fans liking what they're seeing, and for good reason. 43% shooting for Boise State overall, 48% shooting for Wyoming, but the big differential really the three-point game. Full court pressure. Ooh, almost a turnover.
That's why Gerald Mattinson for Wyoming called the timeout, wanted to put on that pressure, knew that they needed to stop the clock, going for a steal. The immediate stop, they nearly had one. First time for Jade Christopher of Boise State that she's had a double-double without points. How about this? 10 assists and a career-high 10 boards. That's quite a stat line.
That is something. She has 5 points. But the double-double with the assists and the rebounds, and free throws good for Hodgins. 9-point lead, under a minute left. And driving in the foul, area vets will get free throws.
And Boise State doesn't need to do that. That's just helping out Wyoming after you work so hard to make free throws and take care of the ball.
Yeah, you almost want to let area vets just go ahead in and lay it up.
Make sure you only give them a 2. You're up by 9.
Yeah.
Now you're not probably going to be up by 9 with area vets at the line.
Carla Ariavets, the sophomore from Croatia. Part of the All-Mountain West freshman team last year and started every single game for the Cowgirls in her first year. Timeout called, and she brings it within 7. Gerald Mattinson, associate head coach for 16 seasons, alongside Joe Legursky, the head coach for 16 years. And becoming the head coach this year. Wyoming fans, they were up and excited earlier on their feet as the Cowgirls were down by double digits. They came back, they tied it, they regained a lead, it went back and forth, and then Boise State slowly started to take over again.
Boise State has the advantage here. They can take this ball out in front of their own bench, and they're going to get, Wyoming's going to inevitably stop the clock here. There's the reach right there. And Hodgins, they'll send Hodgins to the line.
Foul will be on Weideman. That is her 3rd.
And Gerald Mattinson starting to think about substituting offense and defense with his player personnel. Got a rebound on the free throws. Vitalova back in for that reason. And at the other end, remember, she's a 3-point option for them. They need to close this gap, and they need to do it quick, but Hodgins would like to expand this gap.
7 points. Make it 8 for Brady Hodgins, a senior from Pasco, Washington.
Boise State, no foul.
And the lay-in is good. Weideman, she's been solid. And she has 13. Quick foul.
This is where you're focusing on a couple of things if you're Boise State. One, stepping up to the free throw line and doing what you do best, and that is shooting 75%. Well, they're actually 83% in this game. Boise State, good free throw shooting team. Just take care of your business at the charity stripe, right? Don't foul, and then make sure that you're inbounding the ball. Understand that you have 2 timeouts. You have 2 timeouts, and if they make it, you can advance the ball. If you're having trouble inbounding it, you don't have to go 94 feet.
Hodgins 6 of 6 from the free throw line. She's up to 10 points. Rusk going to try to step back. They have been partially tipped, and there's Weideman with the O board. Can't hang on. It's tipped around. They'll say it stays with Wyoming. Broncos thought it was going to be theirs. Rusk all by herself. Can't get it. Vitalova inside. The foul's going to go on Coleman.
Vitalova will go to the line and no, one more. They got one more to give.
Yep.
And they really don't need to.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh.
Gordy Presnell, I'm surprised he hasn't cleared the team back to the other end of the court. With 20 seconds left, his team up by 9. And they are 20 seconds away from making their way to the championship game once again for their 4th year in a row. After winning it the last 3 years in a row. To face 1 seed Fresno State. First free throw good. Getting them both. And timeout called. 7-point game. Would not be easy to do. But crazy things happen.
Crazy things do happen. They call it madness in March for a reason. Just surprised that Hodgins fouled there that last play.
Wyoming made their way to the WNIT a season ago. Made their way to the quarterfinals and lost to the eventual champions Arizona in the quarterfinals. And they've made it to the WNIT the last 3 years in a row. And for Boise State, they've been to the NCAA tournament the last 3 years in a row. They're hoping to get there once again.
Fresno State is in the wings waiting.
Yes, they are.
Eagerly. And boy, have they looked good in this tournament today and yesterday, coming in as that #1 seed, Mountain West Conference regular season champs. Jamie White, Fresno State Coach of the Year.
They were tested, that's for certain, but they were able to get the victory. And they say Luke forgot the block shot. She's out running. I'd be surprised. Yeah, she'll hold this one up. And that's going to do it. The 4th straight Mountain West final for Boise State. They lost the only meeting in the regular season to Fresno State. It was in Boise, and they lost by 5 points.
It was a close one. We expect a close one tomorrow. We have ourselves a championship lined up here for the Mountain West Conference, Fresno State and Boise State. Congratulations to both of them. And of course, Wyoming gave it everything they had. 3rd-ranked team in this seed.
Thanks for being with us, everybody. Championship tomorrow.